Atira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Gujari Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Gujari Hari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Brajajara Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajara Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Vishnupada Prahamsa Parijakacharya Sutta Shatan Sri Srimad, the Divine Grace AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki, Ram Vishnupada Prahamsa Parijakacharya Sutta Shatan Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki, Prantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Nitai Gaur Pramanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 10, entitled Maharaj Rahugana meets Jada Bharat, text number 12. I don't know if you guys have something to follow along with, if you want to. Vishesha Bude Vivaram Manakcha Pashyamayana Vyava Harato Nayat Ka Ishvarastatra Kim Ishitavyam Tatapi Rajan Karavam Kimte. We'll go, I guess, one word at a time this time there. Vishesha Bude Vivaram Manakcha Pashyama Yan Na Vyavaharato Nayat Ka Ishvaras Tatra Kim Ishitavayam Tatapi Rajan Karavama Kimte. Guess we'll go ahead for the word by word translation. Vishesha Bude, of the conception of the distinction between master and servant. Vivaram, scope. Manak, a little. Cha, also. Pashyama, I see. Yat, which. Na, not. Vyavaharata, then the temporary usage or convention. Anyat, other. Ka, who. Ishvara, the master. Tatra, in this. Kim, who. Ishitavayam, is to be controlled. Tatapi, nevertheless. Rajan, O king, if you still think that you are the master and I am the servant. Karavama, I may do. Kim, what? Te, for you. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. My dear king, if you still think that you are the king and I'm your servant, you should order me, and I should follow your order. I can then say that this differentiation is temporary, and it expands only from usage or convention. I do not see any other cause. In that case, who is the master and who is the servant? Everyone is being forced by the laws of material nature. Therefore, no one is master and no one is servant. Nonetheless, if you think that you are the master and that I am the servant, I shall accept this. Please order me. What can I do for you? Purport. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Aham Mameti, one thinks, I am this body, and in this body relationship, he is my master, he is my servant, she is my wife, and he is my son. All these conceptions are temporary due to the inevitable change of the body and the arrangement of material nature. We are gathered together like straws floating in the waves of an ocean, straws that are inevitably separated by the laws of the waves. In this material world, everyone is floating on the waves of the ocean of nescience, as described by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Miche mayara vase yacha beshe, kacha habu dububai, jiva krishna dasa e vishvasa, karle ta'ara dukanai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur states that all men and women are floating like straws on the waves of material nature. If they come to the understanding that they are the eternal servants of Krishna, they will put an end to this floating condition. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajaguna, Samudbhava. Due to the mode of passion, we may desire many things, and according to our desire or anxiety, and according to the order of the Supreme Lord, material nature gives us a certain type of body. For some time, we play as master or servant, as actors play on the stage under someone else's direction. While we are in human form, we should put an end to this nonsensical stage performance. We should come to our original constitutional position, known as Krishna consciousness. At the present moment, the real master is material nature. Daivihi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. under the spell of material nature, we are becoming servants and masters. But if we agree to be controlled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his eternal servants, this temporary condition ceases to exist. Om Gyanatira Mandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshmantamyana Tasmai Shri Guru Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare. Welcome everybody to Bhagavatam class. Are you guys here for the retreat this weekend? Hi, Jai. So are you guys familiar with the pastimes of Jada Bharat? So we are in the talks between Maharaj Rahugana and Jada Bharat, where Jada Bharat is now responding to the insulting words that Maharaj Rahugana leveled against him for failing to properly carry the palanquin. And he's making the point that the king said, I'm your king, you're one of my subjects, so why aren't you doing my will? Why aren't you following my commands? This is the natural order of things, that a king commands and a subject obeys. Of course, nowadays we don't have kings so much, but the idea is there that if a superior person in the government commands you to do something, you should follow. That was the king's idea, that there's this brutish person here, and he is failing basically at walking, because that's what carrying a palanquin really is. It's walking with something on your shoulder. And this person who he's conscripted is failing at even that simple task. But Jada Bharat is putting the level of the discussion or the level of analysis at a different point, or a different level, at a higher level. Because he is saying that this differentiation is temporary. Today, you are the king and I'm the servant, but in the next life, in our next births, I could be the king and you could be the servant, and I could be chastising you for failing to do something according to my will. So who is to say who is actually the master and who is actually the servant? Because if it changes in this way, if from one life to the next, or even from one day to the next, how can it be said that one is actually the master and one is actually the servant? We see so many times throughout history that, you don't even have to wait for the next life in order to see a change of who is master and who is servant. Many times, one day there's somebody who's the king or dictator of a territory or country, and then there's some revolution or war or something, and then all of a sudden that person who is the master is no longer the master. Or the example that comes to mind is in the French Revolution. Right, there's so many kings and nobles, but the people became fed up. The servants said, we don't like these masters anymore, so let us kill them all. And they killed many of them. So who is actually the master and who is the servant? What Jada Bharat says is that no living entity is the master and no living entity is the servant. It is all just the mixtures or the arrangement by material nature. And that calling one person master and one person servant is simply conventional. There's no actual reason behind it. It's like over here, we call the box that takes you from one floor to the other an elevator, while in Britain they call it the lift. There's no reason to call it one thing or the other. It's simply convention. Likewise, Jada Bharat is saying that the terms master and servant are the same way, that it's simply conventional. It's a social convention that has no real reason behind it, that it is simply words that we use to help differentiate between certain things, and that the actual master is material nature. That no matter what the dreams of the living entities are, the real master is material nature. And we are all just acting as actors on a stage. If we look at a play, we might see one person playing a king, I don't know, King Claudius from Hamlet, and another person playing the servant, serving them food or drink or something. But it is not actually the case that the actor playing King Claudius is actually the master of the actor playing the servant. The master, so to speak, of both is the director. If the director decides you two switch places, I don't like the way that you're doing your parts, then the actors are powerless to overcome that order from the director. What the issue is when we start to identify with our parts. You see this sometimes, as far as real life examples, in terms of some method actors. People who try to really, I'm not an actor, so I don't know all of the ins and outs of the acting world, but people who try to really embody and live as their role in order to, try to be authentic in doing it. And sometimes, frankly, these people kind of go crazy, and with sometimes disastrous results. An example that comes to mind is Heath Ledger, for when he was playing the Joker in The Dark Knight, the Batman movie. He is one of these method actor types of people, so he was trying to really get into the mind of the Joker, who is, of course, a nihilistic sadist. And he ended up taking his own life because of identification with this role. And we see this and say, oh, yeah, that's such a tragedy, which it is. And it's so sad that he suffered so much due to identification with this role. However, we do the same thing, just on a more subtle level. We just don't even realize the roles that we are playing. Because our true essence, what truly is us, is the Atma, which has a nature of Sat Chit Ananda, eternal knowledge and bliss. But in this material world, we are covered by the three modes of material nature, which manifest as a subtle and gross body. And due to various degrees of illusion, we identify with these subtle and gross bodies. We think, my country is better than every other country. My family, my place of birth, my particular bodily characteristics, and whether race, gender, whatever, are better than other bodies. Or maybe if we have a little bit more realization, we identify with subtle aspects. people who hold my philosophy are better than those who are philosophically enemies of me, or those who think the same way that I do. And we think that, or I might identify with our minds and think that that is the measure of the status that we have. When I was in academia, I saw this a lot, where people identified a lot with intelligence as a mark of value. That, you know, the more intelligent you are, the higher up on the social ladder you should be. Of course, I don't think those people realize that at the top of the social ladder is, you know, the president of the university and probably a football coach, neither one of which is as intelligent conventionally as the professors are. But that is the way of material nature. So yes, we identify with the body and the mind rather than the pure, blissful spirit soul. And through this identification, we try to control and enjoy. We say, okay, I will work with my body and my mind to attain things that are pleasing to my body and my mind. I will work to try to control whatever little patch of material nature I can, and I will try to enjoy by controlling these little patches. Of course, our enjoying potency is very limited. We have to go through so much work to actually enjoy. I was talking with one of the other residents here the other day, and you know, he was saying that people, you know, they have these big lawns. You know, you see this, I guess, more in the country than in the city. You know, they have these big lawns, and you know, a lot of times they, according to my friend, they have these because they want to pretend to be, you know, British aristocracy who used to have these big lawns, and then when they come over here and the aristocracy isn't so powerful anymore, they think, oh, we should be the aristocracy, so they imitate. But how much work do you have to do to maintain even just the lawn? Right, you have to go mow it, make sure that it looks nice. I've never lived in a place with a homeowners association, but I've heard that they can be very distressing, and you have to satisfy them. And in these ways, there's so much distress just for trying to enjoy something as simple as a lawn. What to speak of our more complicated desires. And we try so much to enjoy these things that are actually the cause of distress, and is actually just the interaction of the modes of material nature. So we are attached to these temporary situations. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, as is explained in the purport, describes this as straws floating on the waves of material nature, where you know, if you see straw or sticks or something light enough to float on the top of water, they come together at some points, and then the waves push them apart again. So just like with us, we have a situation that is coalesced, and we think this situation is my life. The situation is what is the end all and be all of my existence. You sometimes hear the phrase, you only live once, so you might as well enjoy it while you can. That is, this philosophy of grasping at the straws. The straws in my particular situation have come together, so I have to make the most of it. Because they don't recognize that after death, after we leave this body, these straws will, go apart, but might coalesce into another situation. Again and again until the living entity, or for as long as the living entity is in material nature. So we take our situation to be the end all and be all, and perform our actions according to our desires, which are born of the mode of passion. And according to these modes of nature, we enjoy or suffer by our limited enjoying potency. But while we are in the human form of life, we have a opportunity. As it says in the purport, we should put an end to this nonsensical stage performance. We have the actual opportunity to come off the stage, to stop playing our part, and to actually interact in real life with actual reality. And this is by serving Krishna. As I was saying, our own enjoying potency is so limited. Whenever we try to enjoy, it comes with so much distress. But Krishna's enjoying potency is unlimited. Krishna doesn't have to think about how to enjoy. For us, how much do we have to think about how to arrange things so that we can enjoy our situation? So we have to think, do I have anything else to do right now that I am shirking my responsibilities to enjoy in this way? Do I have anything in the near future that I might be anxious about, which would stop my enjoyment? Do I have anything in the far future that I might be anxious about? Do I have enough money to enjoy this way? How much work, how many hours do I have to spend at work to actually gain this money to enjoy in this way? It is so complicated to try to enjoy in the material world, but it's so simple to try to enjoy with Krishna. One simply has to try to perform devotional service under the instructions of a spiritual master and chant Hare Krishna. So simple. Ashley, it is said that even though we are in the Iron Age of Kali Yuga, the demigods are actually lining up to take birth on Earth in human bodies during the Kali Yuga, because it is very simple in Kali Yuga to go back to Godhead. You have a life of 50 years to 70 years. You chant Hare Krishna for a lot of them. Try to make some advancements, and then go back to Godhead, rather than in previous yugas where you have to meditate for 60,000 years or something like that. So it is very simple, and really the choice is, who do we wish to be controlled by? Do we wish to be controlled by material nature or by the Supreme Personality of Godhead? If we are controlled by material nature, then we'll come back again and again in the cycle of birth and death, trying and failing to enjoy. While if we serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, then it is very simple, and we will enjoy with Krishna as his servants in an unlimited sort of way with no negative effects. So I will stop here. Do we have any comments, questions, etc., from our in-person audience before I go to Zoom? Yes.
Okay, so you said that the demigods were eventually to come down to earth.
Yes.
So is it by, I know they live very, very long.
Mhm.
Is it certain demigods that know that their time is coming up closer, or is there a certain way that, like, say, a demigod lives for like 10 million years or something like that? Is it like they're finding a way to descend faster or something?
I'm not sure of all of the details. I do know in one of the purports in the Bhagavad Gita, it does describe demigods being able to come down and kind of enter into this world. I think a lot of them are just praying to the Supreme Personality of Godhead that he arranges it such that the situation is such that they can take birth in Kali Yuga, especially in Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. Yeah, the laws of karma and reincarnation are very complicated. So, and it also might be different for different demigods. And sometimes demigods do come down from one way for another, even within their own life. An example of this is Vidura. So Vidura is actually Yamaraj, but he was cursed by a sage. The sage felt that he had administered justice unfairly in his case. So he cursed him to be born as a Shudra. So he was born as Vidura. Of course, Yamaraj actually wanted this because he wanted a vacation, basically, from his post as Yamaraj, which is actually a very intense service, right? Vaishnavas are naturally very compassionate. So it's a very difficult service for them to sit and judge. You know, you get sent to a hellish planet, you get these bad things to happen to you. So he wanted a vacation. So it was arranged that he could be cursed, so-called cursed, and be born as Vidura so he can take birth and participate in Krishna's pastimes while on the planet. So yeah, I'm not sure of all of the mechanism by which the demigods come down to take birth in the human form of life during Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, but somehow or other, those with the sincere desire to do so, if Krishna agrees to fulfill that desire, he'll arrange things to fulfill it. Because actually the life of a devotee is actually personally overseen by Krishna. So even our karma, it's a special mix in order to help us in devotional service. Anything else from our in-person attendees? No. All right, do we have any comments, etc. on Zoom? Nobody? Usually if there's no questions. I know at least when I was giving classes in academia, there are no questions. It means it's either a really good class or really bad class. Okay, so if there are no questions or comments, then I suppose we can end here. All right, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Ah.
What can you do? Pause it. Call it. Come to this whole retreat. Yeah, I'm gonna oh, yeah, I don't know if it doesn't do like you just make, I guess it's one of them. Yeah, you know, she did that. I'm gonna do yeah. That's nice. Great. That's. Yeah.
Hari Puja.
Jaya Lalita Vishaka Lalita Vishaka Shri Radhe. Jaya Nitai Gora Sundar Nitai Gora Sundar Gora Hari. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charanam Kevalam Ki Sanam. Shri Guru Charanam Krishna Prasthaya, Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Krishna Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Swami Kumar and Gita Govardhan Sri Vrindavan Mayapur Gangamaya Yamunamaya Vasudev Vasudev Another device identity. I know security, love it, and he's I work on a all works in civil devotees, all works in civil devotees, all works in civil devotees, all works in tree grew and tree go around the all works in our path. Below speak, my spiritual master, on the way of the shame, about his lotus feet is great and all that. By his grace, with the proclamation and pure suffering, my children have my promise with fear, by the roots of the nation. The passion of his lotus feet is passion of children. He is my garden, he is my brother's friend. He is my Lord, everybody. Brother is back in the beginning, final and the Vedic is the king of paradise. Our Christian master is living in the mercy of the for the Lord Master. Oh, Master, please be very welcome to the everyone. Your hands proud to speak excellent. Run your complete bottom of this morning, much more like we